is that they are made from proteins that you ingest. How many people thought that serotonin issues were a deficiency of Prozac or Lexapro? Raise your hand, please. Yeah, those drugs don't make more serotonin. They take whatever serotonin is there and work it over time. And over time, individuals begin to start having bigger problems than they did to begin with. Those drugs, I always tell patients, that those are one of the biggest nemesis in terms of being able to really help with weight loss because they will cause people to gain weight. And so we don't want that as a solution. Anyway, these are the chemical messengers that go through nerve cells and they either excite or diminish. And so if they're not working correctly, here's the long list I talked about. Serotonin is the one I mentioned earlier, that it loves chocolate. So if you're maybe sugar cravings, and if he says, chocolate please, that's your serotonin talking to you. But all of these neurotransmitters are dependent on how your digestive system works. And many, many times when the gut's off, the serotonin drops down, and the weight gains because we're doing comfort eating and trying to raise that back up. Barrier number 8 is diet. So I don't want to just pretend diet doesn't make a difference. Diet is a matter of a lot of discussion. There's a whole lot of books out there about diet. So the things I put on a couple of things that are important is that calories do count. You can't just eat 8,000 calories a day and do nothing and expect that you're not going to gain some weight. But the bigger issue is what kind of combination, and that's what the subject is in a lot of things. We have several diets that we use in the diet to help people lose weight, and it depends on your circumstance and how quickly and how drastically we need to do to be able to do that. We always have to make sure dietarily that you have adequate amounts of protein in your diet. Dr. Lehman is a physiologist, he's a nutritional biochemist also, and he's found that 30 grams of protein per meal over 3 meals are necessary for the synthesis of muscle. Now that's not always our only goal, but if you want to increase your muscle of your body as a proportion of your fat, getting enough protein intake is going to be very important with that. So being able to get that protein intake is part of that. By the way, I know that I'm hitting all these things on a high point, I'm kind of rapid fire these barriers. Part of the whole idea here I want you to get is that losing weight is not that simple. Losing weight is not always that direct because any one or some grouping of these variables that we see here, these barriers, can play a role and add to your frustration about what you've been trying to do. And so the diet, making sure that is there. You can say that sometimes we eat 6 small meals a day, make sure you eat enough in the way of, and now I sound like I'm not eating plenty of vegetables and those things. But these are all parts of it. But the mixture has to be individualized. There's no one diet that fits all. We like the paleo diet a lot in our office. We also have the ketogenic diet, which is a higher fat content. It depends on what you need to get done. But diet takes a back seat. If your metabolic functions are not working the way they're supposed to, I don't care what diet you go on. Your neighbor next to you can lose 10 pounds overnight, and you can't budge. That's the metabolic barriers there. So diet plays a role, and certainly what you're doing plays a role, but it's not the only role. It's not trying the major role, but we still have to put it down as a barrier because most people go around and they say, well, I can't lose weight. How many people like bananas? Raise your hand. Most people like, everybody likes bananas. It tastes good. If you eat a whole banana in the morning, you won't lose weight all day. If you eat a whole banana in the morning, you will not lose weight all day. The sugar content of bananas is high enough, the sugar goes up very quickly, and then insulin comes in, it drives the sugar down very quickly. Now you're hungry again, so you want to go back and get something else to eat. But insulin drops very slowly. It takes insulin a very long time to drop the bloodstream. Sugar dropped like crazy, but here's insulin coming down slow. What did I say insulin does to fat? Keeps it in storage. It won't let you access that fat for energy, and so therefore, just having a whole banana in the morning or having anything that's too sugary can block your weight loss. So those are the tricks we talked about. We'll go over and some of the nuances that we run into when people are having a certain dietary. We have a lot of guys that come in on the off season are professional baseball players. One guy, 1 year, was on a good program and lost his weight that he needed to. If you heard how the baseball players eat during the season, you would be appalled. But nonetheless, they had to lose weight in the off season. And the second year he came back in, he wasn't losing weight. He was eating a whole banana in the morning. His program said he'd have a half banana, and he's eating a whole banana. That one simple thing blocked his weight loss. As soon as he changed it, he went right back to where he used to go. It's not eating more calories. This is where I just now talked about, the types of calories you eat are most important. How many people here, which of these foods make fat? Okay. Starch. How about proteins? The answer is all the above. See, the thing is that everything on here, I mean, proteins, if you eat enough protein, it will be converted to fat. If you eat enough fat, it gets stored as fat. And so even carbohydrates, the grains that people talk about, even vegetables, it's harder for that to be converted, but calories still, excess carbohydrates will be converted to fat. So, and again, if you eat certain things in combination, it adds to the overall issue. True or false? Eating fat makes you fat. False, yeah. It's false. But for the longest time, how many foods are still out there that says fat-free, reduced fat? How'd that work for us? And the answer is not too well, because eating fat does not make you fat. One of the better books out there is Eat Fat, Lose Fat, and this is you're quite good. Barrier number 9. There's 10 barriers, so that we know exactly how close we're getting. Barrier number 9, toxins. Now, this is number 9, but there's not a place on the planet you can go that doesn't have toxins. The most remote lake up in extreme north Canada is polluted because it rains or snows there. And all the pollution is in the air and comes down through in the form of rain or precipitation. And wherever that falls, it brings the pollution with it. Now, if it happens to be in a lake or stream and into the plankton, you collect that and consume the toxins, and then the little fish eat the plankton, the big fish eat that, and guess what the big fish we do? Or even if we are eating organic vegetables, for example, it rains on that organic vegetable field. If it's broccoli or cauliflower or onions or garlic, how many people like those foods? Raise your hand, please. I do too, and I still eat them. I'm not suggesting you shouldn't. However, high sulfur containing foods, and they will attract higher percentage of mercury from that rain. So, and these toxins get in and interfere with cellular metabolism. Earlier on, we talked about insulin resistance, blocking the receptor sites. It's these toxins that get in. It's these toxins that begin to mimic estrogens and a lot of different factors. So toxins play a huge role, but you cannot begin first with detoxifying yourself. If your liver's overloaded already, if your gut's overloaded already, and you try to detoxify, you're going to fall in the ditch, and you will not lose weight, but you'll make your situation worse. So detoxification is important. It's just the timing when that occurs. So the answer to this is you need to detoxify. Everybody needs to detoxify. Every single individual, they actually went through and did some studies. I talked a little bit on here about that. Is they did some studies and they found that individuals who are all people assayed, 100% of individuals assayed had toxins in their muscle and their fat. In here it talks about, they actually did a study where they actually did these things with a bunch of adults, and they all had like 91 different toxins as far as their body is concerned. So I won't belabor the point, is that we have toxins all the way across the board, even in the breast milk of the Eskimo women and their children. It's all over the place. Are you ready to detoxify? And most of the thing I tell people, you got to fix your gut. If you don't fix your gut, don't detoxify because you're headed for trouble. Liver is right next to it. You got to make sure the gut's working. You got to make sure your kidneys and lymph are working. And those are all things that we pay attention to kind of on a holistic type basis. And that's really the kind of the bottom line, is that we want to approach your weight loss like any other health conditions we look at. We want to look at the causes, not cause, but causes of why you have the symptom of overweight. Weight and overweight is a symptom. And it's a symptom that's there from a number, as you saw, a number of different factors. Barrier number 10, you. Some people will leave here tonight and say, boy, you sure does talk fast. And then some of you will say, well, that's interesting. But individuals won't do the next very important thing, which is to decide to do something. You really have to make a firm decision that you want something different for yourself before anything will take place. And again, like I said, maybe people will leave here, so that's kind of interesting, but they take in terms of making the overall process to make the decision to move forward. That's going to be the real key for you. And so I hope that people do decide. If you decide that you want some help with us, realize that we're going to do an individualized plan that's unique to your metabolic barriers. Not every one of you will have all these barriers. And then we'll do a plan that's actually geared toward that. and to assess you correctly with not just some of the other metabolic processes, but what we need to do to really improve health. So that's our clinic in LifeWorks, and so we're glad to certainly help you. And so I appreciate you taking your time tonight to come and see, and hopefully I can get some information that weight loss is not as simple as it seems. Thanks much. As I promised, I will open some questions. If you have questions, I can answer them individually, but I think we're also trying to wrap it. I'd like to, of course, yeah.